So, welcome to a way past due video that I've been wanting to make for quite some time, or at least to start this series of my videos off. It's a book review. Anybody who been listening to me in life or just online, listen to my videos by any chance, Facebook, Instagram, the few that watch on YouTube, whoever you are. You know that I've mentioned before that I want to do music reviews, book reviews, maybe some television or movies reviews, stuff like that, just for the sake of life lessons, whether that's personal, or for a friend or somebody, just for conversation, or most of all, for thought. Because I believe the things that we watch, the things that we listen to, the things that we read can have a major effect on how we make decisions, whether that's by choice, unconsciously, subconsciously, whatever, habitually, doesn't matter. When we consume media, when we consume words, listen, see them, hear them, whatever, all that kind of stuff, you absorb it, whether you like it or not, whether you want to believe that or not. Now, somebody that I've gotten into during the pandemic, which I should have been gotten into, quite honestly, because I've always seen him on my Facebook recommendations, like things you might be interested in, people you might know, whatever. And I've always seen David Goggins' face. Yes, David Goggins, okay? If you don't know who he is, you're about to find out today. And if you do know who he is, congratulations, we on the same page. David Goggins is a former Navy SEAL, which if you don't know is one of the toughest trainings to go through in the military, U.S. military at least. It could be debated. We're not talking about other countries' military. Outside of that, distance runner, long distance runner, ultra marathon runner. Now, a regular marathon is already about 26 miles, okay? Now, ultra marathons, we talking about 100 miles, we talking about 200 miles. We talking about races that take a day or more to complete. Non-stop running. I mean, you stop to pull over, like fix yourself up, get hydrated, eat, rest if you choose to do so. But some of these guys are banging these out and they're rarely stopping throughout these races. So David Goggins, right, used to have the pull-up record in the world. I think he did like 1,000 pull-ups. I don't even know. Don't even quote me on that. But dude had the world pull-up record. I know somebody else broke it. End of story. Point is, we're talking about this book right here, never finished. Just came out last year, 2022 in December. I recently got it in June. Ordered it, had to get me a physical copy. It's his second book. His first book, which is more widely known, okay, is Can't Hurt Me. You'll see it out on the internet. It's him in his dress uniform, all white, medals all showing, everything like that, ready to go. All right? Lost a lot of weight. You got a bigger version of himself from the past that he used to be in the background, and his new self, who he is today, in the foreground. That book, honestly, is a whole nother conversation, but I'm gonna put it like this. We're gonna talk about both books, try not to spoil too much, and try to help whoever you are that's listening to this understand David Goggins and understand why this guy is one of my favorites online. There are not that many people in my world that I look up to, that I follow, like I'm going to listen to what this guy says. I don't care what anybody says. I'm not saying his word is gospel. But so far, this man has not said anything that I disagree with. There have been many people that I have listened to, whether that's music artists, that's just people I did find myself following on social media or whatever, and then they turn out to be not too cool, or they say some things and I'm like, I don't really agree with that. Not that we have to agree with everything a person that we like thinks, but it's a thing where you start to follow a person and you realize, hey, I might not be 100% with them on certain things, okay? Can't Hurt Me book came out 2018, right? I didn't find this book until 2020. A friend put me on, introduced me to David Goggins. I'm like, oh, I've seen this guy before. He's on Instagram running around telling people to get off the couch, live their best life, face their demons, overcome their problems, address people, keep it real, 100% real, all the way real, bluntly honest, real, which is what I love, okay? And like I said, I'm surprised I haven't heard about this guy already. I'm surprised that I haven't come across him. I'm crazy Because dude literally for me, speaks almost 100%, almost, to exactly how I feel, exactly how I think. Like, shoot, even our, like, the whole him describing his upbringing is exactly, like, similar, okay? I didn't ever encounter direct racism because he touches on that a lot. I have never encountered direct, blunt racism to my face. That's one thing we don't have. I've never had an abusive father. That's one thing we don't have in common. Never even met my father, okay? I mean, obviously he's a Navy SEAL. I've never been a Navy SEAL. Never been in the Navy, so yeah, we don't count that. But I'm starting to run a lot more, and on a serious note, I'm ready to knock out my first marathon probably this year, 2023. Let's talk about overcoming the past. Let's talk about changing yourself, defeating the odds. Literally, the title of the first book is Defy the Odds, a part of the title. Becoming someone else. Leaving your haters alone. Leaving things behind. Moving on through the demons, through the darkness, through the doubt, through the fear, through the anxiety, through the injuries, through the pain, through the suffering. Let's talk about it. Now, I'm not saying David Goggins got the best book in the world and it's going to change your life the moment you read it, because it's not like that. And there's plenty of other books that may touch your heart, may get inside your mind. You may be like, man, I love this book. Listen, I listened to the audiobook version that Can't Hurt Me 3 times. This book right here, never finished. I'm probably going to end up reading it again because it helped me center myself. Now, that's the thing. During the pandemic, a lot of us lost ourselves. During the pandemic, a lot of us, we didn't have work, we didn't have school, we didn't have hobbies and things like that. We had a lot of things that we needed to keep us balanced, focused, centered, gone, taken away from us for a good amount of time until we started to slowly get back into it. And for me, I was like, all right, I'm gonna get this book. And actually, it was my first audiobook that I've ever bought in my life, was this David Goggins Can't Hurt Me book. Okay, bought this in like February or January 2021, starting off my year with this. And I was like, let me read this. And man, just the exploits in the military, his journey with the weight loss, dealing with family problems, again, is just phenomenal, okay? It's phenomenal. I have never heard of anyone like David Goggins. Sure that there are other Navy SEALs, Sure there are other ex-military people. Sure there are other athletes who are in better shape, who have done greater things and crazier things in this world. There are plenty of people like that. But if you're a person who's been through a traumatic childhood, if you've experienced bullying, if you experienced racism, if you ever been in or thought about joining the military, you need this guy, all right? If you ever been alone, if you ever felt like you was isolated, you didn't count, you didn't matter, and beyond that, because we know once you have self-esteem problems or identity problems and you don't know how to find yourself, you headed for the darkness. And by the darkness, I mean self-deletion, I mean harming yourself, harming others, drug abuse, and so on and so forth. We know where that conversation is going. But he's been there, okay? But he's been there, and when he describes his experience and his journey, for me, it hits like home 100% every time. Like, dude. Now, there's people, let me get to the criticism, because I know that there are people, I've watched both sides. Whenever I get into anything, I've said this on many of my videos, I'm going to always say it. I try to balance everything that I get into, that I talk about, as best as possible. I've seen the videos where people like, oh, well, you know, it's not actually good to overwork yourself, to push yourself so hard. And, you know, it's not good to be so blunt and so honest. And why do he got to curse so much and blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, if you don't like it, or girl, lady, if you don't like it, get off his Instagram. Get off his Facebook. Stop following him on YouTube. Stop listening. If you can't handle the curse words, if you can't handle the attitude, the blunt, direct form of healing, because it's his form of healing, my way of healing, and millions of other people who clearly agree, because this dude is best-selling multiple times on Amazon, in real life copies, had some very rare publishing things going on, and he actually got it off the ground, and this thing took off, okay? It's crazy. And if you don't like it, go away. It's really that simple, because that's what he's going to tell you. He talks about it all the time. He deletes people off his Instagram, off his social media, blocks them all out, doesn't argue with people, and cancels them. And I feel the same way. When you read a book especially he would say this is not self-help material. The material he talks about is not self-help. It's life. It's true. And it's true because a lot of self-help material will give you step by step. Here's how you do this, affirmations, blah, blah, blah. And you're supposed to follow those things and magically things are supposed to unfold. But a lot of those things don't talk about how difficult, how hard, how challenging, how scary, how lonely it can be to go through that process of growth. They can't tell you, or they don't tell you, because that's not what sells. People don't want to hear what is considered the negative stuff, the bad stuff, the scary stuff. People don't want to hear that. But for me, as long as I've been conscious and alert of my own thinking and who I am and where I'm going and what I want to do and how I feel, the blunt approach is for me. I don't care if it's scary. I don't care if it's lonely road. I don't care. I've been there half my life so far, 25, okay? Since I was a teenager, coming out of middle school and whatnot, I was already on my path of being by myself because I just never fit in. He mentions this thing that he always calls the only. The only is a person that does not fit in. It doesn't matter if you're a woman, a man, a trans, white, black, Asian, whatever you are, you're short, you're tall. Many times in life, we are going to be the only. Some of us have been the only all the time in their life, or even if we aren't, we just constantly feel like that, and mentally we are the only. I've been the only many times, and I feel like I'm the only many times until this day. I'd be the only. Not because I really am, but up here, because of where I've been in my past, I'm the only. Because a lot of time when I speak, it's rare that I find people who on my level of thinking, who can grasp it. They don't judge, oh, I don't like the way you said that. It's rare. It's rare that I find people like that. And he speaks on that time and time again. Time and time again. The only. Not only that, he talks about, obviously, potential, maximizing your potential, using all your skills, using all your assets, making all your thoughts and emotions useful. The problem is, right, we all have things that we can do. Some of us don't have things. Let's be real. And I like the way he puts it because I agree. Some of us are not talented. Some of us don't have no skills. We are not creative. We are not fast. We're not strong. We're not flexible. We're not tall. We're not handsome. We're not beautiful, whatever, all that stuff. We don't have it all, or we don't have anything. Some people feel like they don't have anything. But he gives you some framework to start from scratch and build yourself up. Now, I didn't come from like the worst childhood or the worst background or anything like that, but I've had my fair share of struggle, and it hurt, and it hurts till this day. And the thing is that it just blows my mind, man. Like that just distracted me over there, but it blows my mind that there's a guy out here who said everything that I be thinking, from the potential, from the growth, from just everything. Like, I really don't have that many words. Like, I could go on for the next 20 minutes, but I said I'm not going to. But to close this out, what I'm going to say is, if you haven't listened to David Goggins, you need to do it. Like, seriously. Like, I can't say that enough. And I don't usually throw anybody like, oh, you got to listen to this. You got to do this. You got to see that. I'm not that kind of person. Because when anybody, we all do it. When we get excited about something and we love something or someone, we can't stop talking about it. Now, I don't talk about them all day long. But quite honestly, when I find a person who's on the path, or they're similar to my thinking, and they don't mention David Goggins, I'm like, have you heard of David Goggins? Because that's that bull, man. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's wild. It really is. But he's such a transformative person. Just won multiple awards, for many different things in the military and outside of the military. There's a lot of criticisms about him. A lot of people don't like him. His military record's been put into question. Blah, blah, blah. If you want to research that kind of stuff, go do it. But I'm telling you now, if you coming in for work, if you like to work on yourself, if you're not afraid to go along, or even if you are, and you're trying to figure out that next step, dude, lady, listen to the book on Amazon or buy the copy of the book. I don't care. Or watch some of the interviews on YouTube, listen to it on some podcasts on Spotify, YouTube, Pandora, wherever you listen and consume your media. Do it. Because for me, when I first read Can't Hurt Me, the first book in 2021, and when I'm reading this book now, for whatever reason, it just centers me, it balances me, it puts me back into focus, because multiple times in my life, which is probably going to keep happening, and it's going to happen to you, you're going to feel like you lost yourself a little bit. You're not focused. You're not on point. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. Your goals are not coming true. You're not completing them, whatever. You're going to feel like that. But for me, listening to this guy, reading his books, hearing his voice, going through Instagram and seeing some of his stuff, not all his stuff, but certain things, they center me. They get me balanced. And what's important in life above anything else, through all the trouble that you're going to have financially, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, if you believe in that, you got to center yourself. You got to get your focus back and maintain it as best as possible. There is so much more I can say. Maybe I'll break down some of my favorite quotes from him, or maybe my favorite lessons from his books, or some of the things that he often says and summarize it. But hey, there it is. Told you what you need to know. Can't Hurt Me's the first book. Never finished the second book. Just dropped. Check it out.